Alright, here we go. RussellMania. PWG show. This took place last January during the Wrestle Reunion weekend. And, the show featured Rob Van Dam, the Great Muta, and Jushin Thunder Liger. I'd say it was a pretty good show. It was really, really good. I would say it was slightly better than the ROH show. So let's get right into it. The first match we actually had, PWG usually has the opening matches where they'll stick all their younger talent in the openers, and that's exactly what this was. You had the Cutlers, Ryan Taylor, and Christina von Eerie to take on Malachi Jackson, Johnny Goodtime, Candice, LeRae, and Jerome LTP Robinson. The thing that made this interesting is you have females in there interacting with the guys, and I think Candice LeRae did the ball buster a couple times, which got a great pop out of the crowd. So yeah, this is a really, really fun opener. Your typical PWG hot, action-packed opener. So that's pretty much what it was. Next up, we actually have Brandon Gatson taking on Brandon Bonham. Now, this is an interesting matchup because if you guys can remember, Battle Los Angeles 2008, the previous Battle Los Angeles before this past one, you actually had Brandon Bonham. He was the guy that the one guy that no one really knew about. They actually pushed him pretty heavily in that tournament. He actually faced Nigel McGuinness, I believe, in the quarterfinals. So yeah, he made it pretty far. And then the previous BOLA, 2009, you actually had Brandon Gatson. He was the one PWG guy that really did not know that much about, and he got some big wins. He got some wins over Alex Shelley and the Young Bucks. So yeah, so it made sense to pair the two Brandons up together. And the problem with this match was the crowd really wasn't that into it. You got the feeling this is a pretty big crowd. This PWG crowd was pretty much stacked, but at the same time, a lot of these guys probably just there to see RVD and the bigger stars, so they really didn't react that much. So the action was pretty good, just kind of disappointing. I was kind of excited for it, so this kind of fell flat. All right, so next up we actually had Super Crazy and Human Tornado. Now the thing about this was Super Crazy is supposed to face Davey Richards, but Chuck Taylor was hurt, so Human Tornado could not challenge the Young Bucks for the Tag Team Championships. It was supposed to be Chuck Taylor and Human Tornado to take on the Young Bucks. So they put Super Crazy and Tornado together. This match was kind of a filler match. It was very short and sweet. Crazy looked okay, kind of out of shape, but I believe this might have been Human Tornado's last PWG match. So yeah, that's kind of unfortunate, and just a short and sweet match. Really nothing else to talk about. All right, next up we actually had Davey Richards and Kevin Steen. These two guys brought it. This is really, really good. I like this. Vintage Davey Richards, Kevin Steen. Kevin Steen's hilarious in PWG. He talked before the match and did some pretty funny stuff. And you get Vintage Davey Richards. He did his Tope Con Hilo once again, and really, really good action. Very well executed. The ending was very, very solid. Kevin Steen was pretty good. For someone that's battling a lot of injury problems. So this was fine. So next up, we actually had. We had the Great Muta teaming up with Kai to take on Scott Lost and Joey Ryan. We've seen the Great Muta before. I haven't followed his whole career, so I'm not as high on him as someone like Truthslayer is. I know Truthslayer said that was his favorite wrestler of, I think, of all time, actually. So, yeah, I mean, we've seen Great Muta in ROH at Final Battle 2003. His performance, the whole match, the whole presentation was kind of underwhelming. I don't know. I don't think that was a good example of how great the Great Muta really is. But here, it was good. It was a short and sweet match. Scott Lost and Joey Ryan played their roles very nicely. Had a great ending. Crowd was really into it. They gave Great Muta a lot of respect. Had a nice finish with the Shining Wizard. So yeah, I mean, I think long-term Great Muta fans will really, really like this. They'll enjoy it. I think it was booked the right amount of time, so it came off pretty well. It's a pretty fun match. All right, so next up we had El Generico and Jushin Thunder Liger. Great match, just like we'd expect. Liger could still go. For someone that's been wrestling 25 years, I'm really impressed with him. Both of his performances from this weekend were really good. The Aries match and now the match against El Generico. These two guys, this made for a really interesting combination. Generico looked great, and a lot of great near falls. Really, really, really enjoyed it. The finish was really well done, so I liked it. 3.5 stars for me. So next up, we actually had the Young Bucks, who were really hot heels for this show, took on Paul London and Brian Kenderick. And before I talk about the match, let me say that the Young Bucks were very, they were awesome here because they played off the TNA thing. They just signed with TNA, and they talked about how they love working for Vince Russo, and they love Hulk Hogan, Eric Bischoff, Dixie Carter, the whole TNA family. So that was really cool, and the crowd was chanting "fuck TNA" to them, and they stated that they love working in Orlando a lot better than they do Southern California, so that got them a lot of heat. And they went after Brian Kendrick. They kind of got in Kendrick's face because Kendrick and the Young Bucks were kind of an alliance. So then they told Kendrick that you're not on our level because we're signed with TNA. But shortly after, Kendrick signed with TNA anyway, so that really did not make sense actually. But Kendrick and London teamed up. London was kind of rusty out there. He's awesome as he always is, but some of the spots he kind of botched. But it was still an awesome match. The Young Bucks are awesome. Even though they played heels, they did some awesome things out there. Just another vintage Young Bucks match. You add in Paul London and Brian Kendrick, you just get a great match. And the ending was phenomenal. They did a nice counter to the Bang for Your Buck. The Young Bucks finisher is called More Bang for the Buck. So they went up to do it, and then London did a nice counter to it, which enables Spanky to hit the sliced bread. And then London finished it off with the shooting star press. So just an excellent, excellent match here. But it's not that match of the night. I'm going to have to give match of the night to the main event. Finally, we get Rob Van Dam returning after a long hiatus. He's done with the RVD television and all the other stuff that he was doing. We finally get to see him back. Now, I thought he looked kind of rusty at the Royal Rumble 2009. He didn't look like he was in very good shape at all. I just didn't think he looked that good. But, you could tell he's been spending some time at the gym, and I guess he's worked off some ring rust. He looked pretty good out there. I'm not going to say he looked the best he's ever looked like. He's not as mobile and as he used to be, but he looked like Rob Van Dam. It was awesome to see him out there. Got a great ovation. Crowd was really, really into him. The crowd was awesome for the main event. It really was. So it was a triple threat match: Rob Van Dam versus Chris Hero and Roderick Strong. Now, personally, I have to say Roderick and Chris Hero kind of carried the bulk of the match, but RVD was still Rob Van Dam. He did some awesome things. He did the Asai moonsault. He did the, everything that he does. The Rolling Thunder. Everything looked great out there. And really, really stiff match as well. Van Dam did some stiff kicks. He did the spinning heel kick to Chris Hero, blasted him right in the face. And even RVD was kind of sorry for that. He felt that he got him a little bit too hard. So the match was awesome. Van Dam did go over. Obviously, I think everyone pretty much expected that. But still great stuff. Roderick looked awesome. Chris Hero cut a great promo after the match, thanking the PWG fans, and showed a lot of respect to Rob Van Dam. And Van Dam was treated like a legend, and I do think he is a legend to a degree. So I'm glad to see Van Dam get the respect he deserves. Nice little PWG match for Rob Van Dam. This is just a nice little fun show. I wouldn't say it was great. There were a lot of PWG shows from 2009 that were superior to this, but you definitely still want to check this out. If you're a Rob Van Dam fan, this is probably must have, so definitely check it out. RussellMania.